So Obama was able to say, well, I didn't authorize this. This was not U.S. government policy. Because if the CIA had done it, he would have had to have signed off on it. But if they run it through USAID, then they can say, oh, it went rogue.
But what if, hold on a second, just semantic, because I want to understand this. If a CIA person doesn't even walk into the USAID office, but there's a phone call that's made there, or anything, or an email or something, isn't that technically traceable back to them, and therefore it's well, this does fall under your purview?
Well, if it's subpoenaed, and this is another issue. You can't get anything out of it. In fact, I wonder if they say this in the code. Can you scroll down? Just run a control F for a second. There's a guardian. Destabilizing street protests that are semi-terroristic, effectively, where they're technically, they call them non-violent protests, but it's mob violence is what it is. They call it non-violent because it doesn't involve, tanks and napalm. It just involves Molotov cocktails and, setting buildings on fire. That's what they call nonviolent action. But he gives examples in this, famous blueprint that he wrote about how, I think it was in Georgia, or may have been 2004, I think it was in Georgia. He gives some Eastern European country, and he gives the example about, how they created this quick reaction force to allege there was election fraud. Even though it's kind of unclear who actually won, but they got enough mobs in the streets that were mob violent, non-violent, mob violent, and that the threat, the size of these riots were so terrorizing the population that the judges felt that they had to rule, that they had to adjudicate in favor of the mob in terms of the determination by the judicial body, for example, in Romania, it was a judicial body who canceled the elections. It's a judicial body who's banned Marine Le Pen from running in France, a judicial body who's banned Bolsonaro from
running. By a judge, it's the mob. Yeah.
Right. And we have, they call them EMBs, election management bodies. This is the State Department term for who you influence in order to
yeah, that doesn't
but our it's
just when you say it out loud.
There is a recycling machine between the U.S. Supreme Court and USAID's top global influence operation for influencing the decisions of courts and prosecutors and judges around the world. It's called the World Justice Project. It's funded by USAID and the State Department. And they have a worldwide network of judges and prosecutors in 80 countries, 100 countries. Thousands and thousands of top prosecutors and judges who all move through this World Justice Project network. They have a whole database, actually, at the U.S. Institute of Peace with this. And on the board of the World Justice Project are 4 recent Supreme Court justices. Impeachment trials, he was behind the criminal indictments. I think he...
Norm Eisen, you said?
Yeah, Norm Eisen. Yeah. I can it's a whole other thing to get into. A lot of people don't know this about it. I actually wrote, together with Darren Beatty, I wrote this piece. If you look up in Revolver, Norm Eisen legal hatchet, I wrote to descend on the courts, the prosecutors, to lean on them about how they should rule in cases, what laws they should pass, what laws they should prevent if Parliament passes, they shall rule as being anti-constitutional. The same's happening right now in our country, as all these executive actions are being blocked by our courts. This is exactly what our blob structure does through its rule of law programs. But I bring this up to say that John Roberts, while he was Chief Justice, able to simultaneously understand and hate and want to chop out the corruption, but understand the role that corruption plays. Because, for example, you hate China too. You want to win the war with China, not the Chinese people or whatever. You hate the communist Chinese government, whatever you want to say on that. These are the highest Supreme Court folks on our Supreme Court, and this is, I'm sorry, this is a CIA operation. Okay, this is USAID. If the CIA did this and did not acknowledge it was doing it because it was as a covert action rather than as a semi-public, democracy promotion program, a country would say, oh my God, you're influencing our courts, you're influencing our judges. You're paying. The World Justice Project is literally paying the Ukrainian Ministry of Justice to implement laws for economic reforms and criminal justice prosecutions. We're literally paying for them to prosecute our enemies. We're giving them USAID money so that they have more court capacity to arrest the people the State Department wants taken out. And this is 4 Supreme Court justices on this. There's only 9 Supreme Court justices.
Right.
But the point that I'm getting at here is like, okay, with Syria. And if you look up Syrian Democratic Forces on my X page, you'll see this. Or if you look up maybe the phrase rebrand or rebranding, or just look at Syria until you see this video. It's just very funny. But so yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Let me get.
What the fuck? The whole fucking paragraph? Rose is wanted arrested the whole paragraph. Oh, you got Little face.